All right, Leo, welcome to your yearly 2015 horoscope. My name is Athen. All right, so I'm going to start with the very general, which is the lunar cycle always is a very good indicator of the overall theme of our experiences. And so I'm going to start there looking at the eclipses. Eclipses do a good job of seeing what the overall theme is for the year. So looking back at last year, 2014, we had the new solar eclipse happening in Libra, which is your guys' third house. So whatever new came to you in terms of a new idea, new concept, perhaps some of you deciding to write a book, something in the communication, learning sphere, perhaps taking a new course or teaching, that kind of stuff, maybe even anything to do with maybe a new project with siblings. Third house is siblings. Sales even, it's a new perspective on that. Whatever that is, that third house stuff that you began working on in October is going to be the energies up until the springtime. And you're going to be able to really utilize that. And that's really where you want to focus your energy, is focus on cultivating those things, learning, teaching, communicating, that sort of stuff. Whatever that is for you individually, this is the time to do that for the first 3 or 4 months of the year. Then in March and April, we have the next set of eclipses, and this is happening in Pisces, which for you guys is your 8th house, which is where things are going to culminate. I think it's realizing a deeper side of life, and perhaps whatever this is, this stuff you've been working on with that, with your communications and stuff, might come to a culmination in you realizing the immense depth and importance of life in general, and wanting to get more deeper, more meaningful with life itself and every element of life. And that's going to set you off into a new path in the spring time period, wanting to have that, deeper connection to your work, to your friends, to your family, all different areas of your life. So from March until fall, when we have the next set of eclipses, use that middle part of the year to continue with that. See how you can get deeper with what you're doing. And all of that's really going to be supporting you guys, okay? Focusing on that. And change also. It's an element of change. Wanting change is very important to that middle part as well. Making any changes that need to be made or that you want to be made for you to enjoy your life more and to really enjoy those deeper aspects of life. So that's the 8th house, and that's going to be hopefully the focus for you guys from March through September. Then in September we have a shift, and it's a new beginning. And it's also the culmination of whatever you've been working on for the middle part of this year. And the whole culmination side of it's going to be, I think, an understanding of the immense importance of simplicity and beauty in your life. This goes back to how, you're wanting this depth, you're wanting this enjoyment. I think in September, that's when it becomes a physical reality. For you, that's your second house. And that's, about you guys seeing it in the physical realm of things and having it manifest. It's the house of manifestation, of abundance. Perhaps lots of abundance, and this is inner and outer abundance coming to you guys as a result of that, making those changes and wanting to get deeper. Then a little bit later in the month in September, then we have early in the month, we have the new energy, which is the solar eclipse, which is happening in your guys' first house. It's happening in Leo. So which is super cool, super awesome. And that's going to be the energy leading you guys into 2016, which is a new beginning, a new path in general in your overall life and in your appearance and who you are and your relationships in general. And so whatever that is, I think it's multiple areas. I think it's all areas. The sense of newness. Continue with that for the remainder of the year from September onward. Continue to see the opportunities in your life and expand the different areas of your life and focus on yourself. That's going to be the time to really do that. Focus on your goals, your ambitions, your objectives, and see them through and do that productive stuff, whatever that is. So that's the overall energy of the year, and focusing in those areas at those times will really cultivate all the different areas of your life. It's like anytime we're in flow with the lunar cycle, it's like being in flow with the, like with the waves, with the water. And everything's nice and flowing, and it seems to work out quite nicely. Now let's get a little bit more specific. Let's talk about the transiting planets, slow-moving planets, where they're going to be at in your chart. And this is going to affect you guys a little bit differently in your personal charts, but it's going to show a very good indicator of the overall energies of how these changes are coming about. So let's start with Jupiter. Jupiter has been in your guys' 12th house in Cancer for the second half of 2014 of last year, and is going to continue all the way until July, so the first half of this year, 2015. And this has to do with expansion of your guys' spirituality. Seeing how when you're going with the flow, when there's presence in your everyday experience, it's bringing in abundance. It's just realizing that when you surrender, things work out, and there's this flow, there's this abundance that comes in. That's what Jupiter shows you. And it's not just abundance, but it's also opportunities. You're more inept and able to see the opportunities in your life when you just kind of flow and go with the tides. So very important with that, and that's where the opportunities are going to be. And it's also things relating to behind-the-scenes activities, spiritual circles, meditation, all this sort of stuff in the spiritual side of things. There's lots of opportunities there for you guys. Okay, so utilize that. And, Jupiter, we have to actually make something of it. We can't just have there's the door. We have to walk through it. We have to take the steps and ground these opportunities in our life. So do that in that sector. And then in July, things shift. Jupiter actually goes over your guys' ascendants, goes into your first house, okay, which is super awesome. This is where this whole new beginning really starts for you, is all around this first house sector. And with Jupiter going over there, it's a brand new phase, a brand new beginning in terms of opportunities in your life. And so from that summer time period, I think that's when you guys are really going to be coming alive. And Jupiter's going to be in Leo. It's going to be in your sign. Lots of expansion, lots of opportunities there. Okay, and so see those opportunities, and like I said, make them a reality. But overall, just enjoy the process. Enjoy the expansion. Now let's see how we can utilize the Saturn energy in terms of how to make these possibilities more of a reality. Saturn recently went into your guys' fourth house last year, towards the end of the year, in October, I believe it was. And so he's going to be in there for the next 2.5 years in your fourth house. And this is where you can really be constructive with the energies. And it has to do with seeing how you can make your reality more comfortable. Okay, the fourth house has to do with home, family, it's comfort. It's also your internal sphere. So for some of you on a mundane level, a lot of you will continue to make renovations and changes around the home sector. Also getting more grounded and long-term with family matters. And perhaps becoming a sort of master of your internal state. Saturn in the fourth shows you that you can be a master of how you feel. And when you're open to how you feel, then you have this, what you might say, control over your feelings. And not that you're preventing yourself from feeling in a certain way, it's just that you feel like you are able to have an ability to feel however you want. And that ability, which you might say, that masterfulness with Saturn, allows you to have experiences that you want to have that's in alignment with how you want to feel, how you want the result to be. Very strong manifestation house. So really see that, really tap into your feelings and utilize them in such a way that you're able to mirror them back in the external environment. So in other words, when you feel abundance, you'll see abundance. All this type of stuff, very powerful with Saturn there. But and then overall on the mundane level, I think a lot of the work you guys are putting into your home, home, family, and those sorts of things is going to help ground you and solidify you, because it's very important we have a very strong foundation. That's what the fourth house is. It's the foundation of the chart, the bottom of the chart. Having a good solid structure there, which is what Saturn is building, enables us to enjoy all the other areas of life. And for you, it is all the other areas, because that's where all of the expansion is happening, in your first house. Okay, so now let's shift gears into Uranus. Uranus is much slower. He hasn't changed signs in a very long time. He's not going to this year. And he's been in your 8th house. Okay, so there's, this is where the South Node is too. So there's a freedom to be had through change, being open to change, okay? So just in general, when you're open to change, when you want to see life unfold in the way that it's going to unfold, and you're open to it, naturally you're going to notice a tremendous amount of freedom, okay, in this. Because with the South Node there, you're releasing any notions on how you think, life is supposed to change or how life is supposed to be. Also releasing from any conditioning and emotional patterns, from your past or from childhood, etc., that allows you to really be your true authentic self. And so the more you do that, the more you just, release any attachments, the more you're going to notice it's increasing your vibration, it's increasing your freedom, and allowing you to be your true authentic self. And the more you do that, you'll notice it's spiritualizing you, it's catalyzing you. So very important stuff there. Now with Neptune and Chiron, they've both been transiting your 7th house. So there's this nebulousness sometimes, with Neptune, and in this case, in terms of your relationships. Your relationships are becoming very spiritual for you. How you can connect, the more meaningful, deriving more meaning out of your relationships in general. Spiritual meaning, spiritual heartfelt connections with those people in your life. And continue to do that, and being more selfless and more giving with relationships is going to further your spirituality and further develop your relationships as well. And that whole process, you'll notice, is very healing also with Chiron there as well. So very nice stuff. Now with Pluto, Pluto is in your guys' 5th house, has been there for a long time. And this is releasing any attachments that you have to creation. Okay, so, the 5th house is creation, it's our inner child, it's everything we create in life. And so with Pluto there, it's an opportunity for you guys to release any attachments to creation. It's also children, creative projects, art is a 5th house thing, new businesses is another 5th house thing. And through that releasing, you'll notice then the pleasure and enjoyment of it is really coming to the forefront, the passion. But you got to do the releasing work to really enjoy that, to see that. So that's going to be an ongoing theme, but it's not meant to be difficult. It's just when you're willing to allow any attachments to your enjoyment, to your happiness. Like, yes, we are all entitled to happiness and enjoyment, but it's already there. We already have it. And just sometimes we have a fear of not having it, or we feel a lack of it. And these feelings, they're just not doing us any good. And it's just a matter of releasing those in order to allow us to really enjoy ourselves more. So that's going to be ongoing. And so release any attachments to enjoying life, essentially, will really allow that light to shine through. Okay, so that's the transiting planets. Now I'm going to get into the specific dates in terms of when these planets are going to be aspecting each other in the sky and the triggering points. So starting with January, we got Pluto squaring up to the North Node. And this whole square, I want to mention, we've had this ongoing square between Pluto and Uranus over the past 2 to 3 years. Okay, and it's catalyzing us, helping us change our lives in a certain area. And for you guys, it's changing your enjoyment for life, your zest for life, releasing those attachments that I talked about, all that sort of stuff. But it's also helping you be more free in terms of the spiritual side of it. And how these things are really they're related. You can be spiritual and free at the same time. You can be happy and spiritual at the same time. You can have change in your life and enjoy the process at the same time. Bringing in the 8th and the 5th house, which is the 2 areas of your chart that are really emphasized here, merging those 2 together is going to facilitate these changes, and being willing and open to making changes in creating a life that's more enjoyable for you in general. And when you do that, when you step into that power, then you become the willing participant in your life, and you start wanting to start making changes. And then the changes don't feel like they're happening to you. You become willing and wanting to do them. So January is a big month for that, because Pluto is going to be squaring up to the North Node, and Uranus is going to be conjunct the South Node. So I feel like that's going to be a pivotal month. Use that month to make those changes, especially since we have this last aspect in March with Uranus-Pluto square finishing up here. Use January to really build a life, make these changes that are much more in accordance with what you're really about, and how to enjoy your whole experience a whole lot more. And and then through that, naturally, you're going to notice abundance coming to you. And this isn't necessarily just physical, material abundance. It's all types of abundance with that North Node in that 2nd house. Now, in terms of Uranus releasing any ideas, and like I said, in terms of change, that's going to be an important aspect in January as well. But just being yourself and allowing things to unfold the way they're going to unfold, through that, there's a natural sense of freedom that will come from that. January can be a very freeing month with Uranus, with the Uranus aspect like that. All right, now let's look at March. March is very important. That's when we have the eclipses. That's when we have this last square with Uranus and Pluto. But we also have this ongoing transit. Jupiter's been trining up to Uranus. This has been going on since September of 2014. and it's going to continue through June of this year. So for the first half of this year, it's going to continue to be opportunities coming to us when we do these things, when we're making these changes, right? But with this particular aspect, it's seeing how this freedom is really going to be facilitating your guys' spiritual change, because with Jupiter in the 12th house, you guys are sort of seeing the opportunities and expansiveness when you're going with the flow and resting up and having presence in your life and simplicity in your life. And so the more you do that, the more you allow that simplicity to come forth, the more freedom you're going to experience. And then the more freedom that you have by being your guys' true self, your unique self, the more spiritual tranquility you're going to see. So there's a strong relationship there between these two. And whatever that is, it's an opportunity for you guys to do, to approach life in that way. And when you do, you'll notice that there's more opportunities and there's more freedom as a result of it. But it's an easy aspect, so you may or may not choose to do it. But it's there, and it's there for the first half of the year. It's a very important aspect that's going on this year. Now let's go ahead and look at August. In August, we have Jupiter squaring up to Saturn, and this is starting to get a little more productive. And this is the middle of the year when things start to shift in terms of that, Jupiter changing sign into your first house and things becoming more about your new path and your new unfoldment. And this is where you can really make some constructive, grounded changes with this new path that's unfolding for you in August. So to look out for that, use that time to really make some solid plans, some solid configurations to make these changes in your life and capitalize on these opportunities that I was talking about. And you'll probably notice that it's somewhat related to your home or family in some way. So for those of you who feel like maybe you need to change home, renovate the home, make some changes there, this is where it can really, there's energy there that can be utilized to really benefit both the expansions that you're having along with the constructive energy you're putting into that fourth house. Tapping into your emotional reserve as well. If it's not physically around the home or family, it's tapping into your emotional strength and allowing that to facilitate and capitalize on these opportunities that you're going to see this year, second half. Now in September is another very powerful month. We have those eclipses, and then we also have Jupiter opposite Neptune. There's a balancing that needs to take place, and it's balancing yourself with other. And that's, very, interesting, because this is where the shift is, but it makes perfect sense. If you can't have, yourself, you can't have your own goals, your ambitions without people in your life, and you can't have relationships in your life if you're not expanding and taking care of yourself. So there's a balance that needs to be taken care of, during September and also all the way through November, really. That whole fall, late summer, early fall time period of you guys balancing those two sectors, because where there's expansion in yourself, you're going to notice maybe you got to pay more attention to your relationships, that sort of thing. So balancing those two is very important. You'll notice more of that connectivity through your relationships in terms of Neptune that we talked about coming forth when you do that, and also a lot of more opportunities will come to you when you do that as well. Now also in September, we have Saturn sextiling up to the North Node, so lots of productive energy that you can really move towards increasing your abundance in this year, especially around the September time period, taking that grounded approach, if it is finances, maybe it's making a budget. But in general, it's just being more grounded, more real, taking the practical side of it and applying it. How can you, achieve what you want? Because second house is about your values, what's important to you. And with Saturn there, Saturn's saying, okay, what can we literally do to bring more of that into our lives, into your life? So whatever that is for you in September, utilize that. Because again, it's an easy aspect, so you may or may not choose to do anything about it, but it's definitely there if you choose to. Now in October, we have more positive aspects with Jupiter. Jupiter's going to be trining up to Pluto in your fifth house. So I think this is positive developments in terms of the creativity, the creative changes that are going on for you guys. And I think there's a strong link there between all of this opportunity that's unfolding for you this year, along with the changes that are taking place with your creativity, with your passion, with your zest for life. A strong association here. Very nice. You can see October being a very freeing, very enjoyable month for you guys indeed. And any creative projects you do and furthering these opportunities in this whole first house sector will really benefit you guys in October. Now in November, we have Jupiter opposite Chiron, so that's another indicator of balancing those two sectors, self and other, and you'll find that very healing as well. And then the final aspect of the year is we have Saturn squaring up to Neptune. And this is again more constructive energy towards the end of the year in November, and it's perhaps putting it into the home family sector or perhaps in relationships, but really merging those two together, bringing those two together. You know, maybe it's seeing how you can, you know, live with someone, maybe move in with someone, how to share more of your feelings in relationships, anything that's involving the 4th house with the 7th house, and there's a strong connection there, but it's about balancing the two. Balancing home with relationships, balancing your internal emotional self with relationships. Okay, what's important to you with relationships. Again, it's all very much correlated with those sectors for you guys. All right, so I'm going to draw a card and see where Spirit would like a little more emphasis for this year ahead. Okay, Mercury. Well, that's interesting. You know, Mercury, he's going to be zipping around, flying everywhere. But maybe this is an indicator to learn. Treat this, you know, this year as a learning experience and share and give. You know, Mercury's the messenger. And he's giving and he's sharing. And I think, you know, with this last year in 2014, whatever this communication is, or this learning and teaching and sharing that you guys started around that October of last year, continue with it, you know, continue with it all year, because what you learn from that time is going to be with you, you know, forever. And maybe this is an indicator that that's going to be what you learned during this early part of this 2015 in terms of your communication, your giving, teaching, learning, all of this sort of thing is going to assist you and facilitate you for the whole year. But focus on giving. This is what Mercury does. He goes around, he receives and he gives. He receives and he gives, and that's what he does. So maybe it's a reminder to do that. All right, guys, so I hope you have a great 2015. Please get in touch if you'd like a personal reading. I do recorded or live sessions. You can click the link following this page to see my sessions. And I hope you guys have a great year. And please stay tuned for my daily, weekly, and monthly horoscopes. Take care.